All right, let's talk about the 90s, the decade of dial-up, boy bands, all that flannel. We think we remember it, right? But what if I told you we're all kind of telling ourselves this great pop culture lie? Okay, first, I need you to go back with me to a very, very specific moment. It's 3:30 p.m., the school bus just dropped you off. You throw your backpack on the floor, you're starving. You hit the freezer, and there it is. A choice that is going to define the next 10 minutes of your life and, let's be honest, probably destroy the roof of your mouth. So what is it? Pizza rolls or a Hot Pocket? Either way, you knew that first bite was going to be like molten lava, right? And that feeling, right? That simple after-school pizza roll bliss, that's how we remember the entire decade. Simple, fun, safe. But here's the thing. What if that memory is, well, wrong? What if it's just a highlight reel, you know? A carefully edited version where we cut out all the messy, the chaotic, and honestly, the way more interesting stuff. So let's start with Exhibit A, the battle for afternoon TV. We remember it as just this fun little music countdown, but really, it was a front row seat to a full-blown pop culture civil war. And the battleground, of course, was TRL, Total Request Live. I mean, if you were there, you know, this was everything. It's live from Times Square. You've got thousands of fans just screaming down on the street, and the power was in your hands. You could pick up the phone, you could log on to that squealing dial-up modem, and your vote helped decide the #1 video in America every single day. So let's look at one specific week, just 5 days in March of 1999 that basically sums it all up. This was the Pop Army versus the Nu-Metal Militia. On Monday, surprise attack. The metalheads totally flood the phone lines and Korn's Freak on a Leash hits #1. But on Tuesday, oh no, the pop fans strike back. Every landline in every suburb is mobilized. The Backstreet Boys snatch the top spot. They hold their ground on Wednesday. But then, Thursday, the freaks come out again. They hijack the family computer, that precious dial-up connection, and Korn violently claws its way back to #1. It's an absolute bloodbath. And then Friday rolls around, and while these two armies are just tearing each other apart, who sneaks in? NSYNC. They come in out of nowhere, take the #1 spot, and the week is over. Just like that. But here's the twist. The real crazy part. While all this was going on, this huge battle between pop and metal, there was this new guy, a weird blonde kid from Detroit named Eminem, just creeping up the charts. He got to #5 that week. He was the wild card. He's literally the Joker, sitting in the corner, eating popcorn, just watching these three tribes destroy each other. And nobody knew it yet, but his presence was a sign that the entire pop culture map was about to be redrawn. Completely. Okay, so from the music wars, let's jump over to the console wars. Because if you thought the music scene was deceptive, oh boy, you have to remember what was going on with video games. We're talking bizarre game design and sometimes just straight up lies. Okay, picture it. It's Friday night, you're at Blockbuster, you can smell the popcorn and the plastic from the VHS cases. You've got one rental to last you the whole weekend. This is a huge decision. And your only guide, the only thing you have to go on, the art on the box. Your entire weekend's happiness is riding on how cool that cover looks. And man, did we get betrayed a lot. Case in point, Sega's Knuckles Chaotix. The box looks awesome, right? It looks like a Sonic game, it promises speed, it promises fun. But the reality? You are literally chained to another character with this magical rubber band. Think about that. The whole point of Sonic is to go fast. But in this game, you'd get a good run going and then, bam, the band snaps you backward, probably right off a cliff. It was a total nightmare that took the one thing we loved about Sonic and just broke it. But as bad as that was, it was nothing compared to Nintendo's move. This was a true Trojan horse. So you see this game on the shelf, right? Cute little squirrel on the cover, Nintendo 64. You think, oh, awesome, this will be like Mario or Banjo-Kazooie, a perfect kids game. And then you get it home, and 5 minutes in, that cute squirrel is hungover, he's chugging beer, and he's literally peeing on enemies to attack them. This wasn't just misleading, it was maybe the greatest bait and switch in video game history. I mean, just think about how wild this was. This was Nintendo, the family-friendly company, the Mickey Mouse of gaming, and they published a game that got an M for mature rating. It had a boss battle against a giant opera-singing pile of, well, you know. It got so bad with so many angry parents returning it that Blockbuster actually had to make their own special warning stickers just for this one game box. So I gotta ask, what was the bigger crime here? Sega ruining the fun of speed with a stupid rubber band, or Nintendo tricking thousands of parents and grandparents into buying what was basically South Park disguised as a cute kids platformer. I'll let you be the judge of that one. But either way, after these games, none of us ever trusted box art the same way again.
All right, so we've talked about the lies that companies told us, but what about the lies we've been telling each other? The myth that we all had this one big shared cultural experience. Let's talk about a classic movie that's a perfect example. A movie that it feels like everyone saw, but almost nobody did.
So, March 6th, 1998. A movie hits theaters. And this isn't just any movie. This movie would go on to become a defining piece of 90s culture. Its quotes, its characters, its whole laid-back vibe, it basically became a personality type for an entire generation. You know what I'm talking about, The Big Lebowski. I mean, it's a masterpiece. It's the cult classic. So obviously when it came out, it was #1 at the box office, right? Had to be. Nope, not even close. The #1 movie in America that week was U.S. Marshals. Yeah, the sequel to The Fugitive. The crazy truth is, The Big Lebowski completely bombed. It flopped. This movie that we all see as this huge generational touchstone was pretty much ignored when it was actually in theaters. And that leads us to an even bigger, kind of secret truth. A little confession that way more people share than you'd think. For all its legendary status, a massive chunk of people from that generation have never actually seen it. Yeah, I'm serious. You know that friend who's always quoting the dude? There's a decent chance they've never seen it either. We all just pretend it's this universal thing we all experience together. But for so many of us, our 90s street cred is built on a total lie. That shared memory, it's not actually real. So, what's the point of all this? The TRL wars, the video game tricks, the classic movies nobody really saw. What does it all add up to? Well, I think it points to something really interesting about how we remember things. We clean up the past, we sanitize it, we really want that simple, easy story, so we edit out the messy stuff. We forget about the brutal fan wars, the corporate bait and switch, and the awkward truth that maybe we weren't all watching and loving the same things. We create this nice, clean, simple memory. But here's the thing, and this is the main takeaway. The sanitized version of the 90s we remember, yeah, it's nice, it's comfortable, but the truth, the actual messy, chaotic, deceptive reality of it all, that's what was really interesting. It was way more unpredictable, and you know what? It was way more human. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. When you think back to your own good old days, whatever decade that might be, what other things that you hold up as these cherished truths are maybe just really, really well-remembered lies? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.